Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Z Garcia.
Today we're taking a look at SpellBook, which is a boring name, but it's from Space Cowboys, who makes good games, and Phil Walker Harding, who makes a lot of games.
Yeah.
He does.
Also good games. Jeez. I love how you're like, Space Cowboys, they make good games. Phil Walker Harding, he makes lots of games.
Oh, no, so I like, that's actually...
You like Space Cowboys. We got it. Let's move on.
No, I like Phil Walker Harding's games. I find a lot of them, though, are becoming samey for me in many ways.
He makes too many, and so the games are becoming a little samey because he's producing a lot. I think that's a fair assessment.
But Chris is going to tell us how to play this, and we'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Here's an example setup of SpellBook. You'll notice that I have a player area over here with a storage board with a picture of my familiar, and I have 7 spells of different colors, which happen to match the colors of these materia pieces or the currency of the game that we'll be using to learn them. The game does include 3 levels of spells for each color, a level 1, 2, and a 3. We're playing with all the level 1s here. You can use all level 2s or 3s, or you can shuffle and mix them together. But all players have to have the same setup that you have, and we'll have 2 random materia at the start of the game. The game is played in turns, where the starting player here is going to do all 3 phases, morning, midday, and evening actions, and then they will refill the altar. A morning action can either be doing a card effect if you have already spent materia to learn one of these spells at a certain level, or you can do the basic action, which is to take one of these materia from here, or to draw 2 randomly from the bag. After you've done your morning action, you'll do a midday action, which is either a midday card spell effect, or you can, in this case, store 1 materia on your storage board here, increasing the number of points that you get. Whatever your highest uncovered value is going to be your points at the end of the game from that. In the evening, you can either do an evening spell card effect or learn a spell by discarding a certain amount of materia. Now let's just say that I had 3 green materia here, and in the evening, I'm going to choose to learn this spell. I'm going to discard 3 of these. I would discard 2 of them and put the remaining 1 over here to learn the spell at the 3rd level. 3, 4, and 5 are the costs for learning each spell. Now, I have an effect that can fire off in the midday rather than using the generic midday action. At the end of my turn, I will refill the altar, usually adding 1, and I'll discuss the nuance of that later. The next player goes doing all phases of their turn, and it comes back to me. So in the morning, I can choose to just take 1 from the altar or draw 2 from the bag, because I have no spell effects. But let's say that I did. Let's say that I had this one right here. I've already learned this one on a previous turn. Now instead of doing the basic morning action, I could choose to do one of these ones here, like take 2 square rune symbols from the board, from the altar here. Now there's not 2 square runes, but I can also choose to activate this at a lower level, or the lowest level. So maybe I'll just take 2 circles. You can always activate a spell at a lower level than what it has. Then in the midday, I can do this. I can swap stuff with the altar if I wanted to, or I could just do the normal storage, evening action, so on and so forth. At some point in the game, I'll be able to learn higher level spells that will give me more effects. So this one here is going to let me discard certain shapes to draw more. Other ones are going to allow me to upgrade the levels of spells I've already learned, because you normally can never learn a spell at a higher level again, but this one might allow you to bump it up. This can allow you to store more of the same color. So I could, for a midday action, store 4 materia of the same color, really pushing the end of the game. So these all have, some of them have instant effects, and they're all worth points. When at the end of your turn you are to refill the altar, you will, if there are fewer than 5 materia, draw up until there are 5 there. If there's already 5 there, you'll simply just add 1 to it, and if ever every space of the materia board is filled in, at the end of your turn, you will dump all of those and place out 5 new ones, and then the next player will start their turn. And so that's how the altar board works. One small note is that any 3 materia with the same shape can count as a wild color. So in this case, if I wanted to learn the yellow spell at level 5, I have 4 yellow materia. I could spend these 3 circles as if they were a yellow, and then I would take all of those and do this here. I would now have earned 7 points and immediately be able to draw 4 materia. Now, the end game triggers. There's 2 of them. Either when the storage board is completely filled up, the players will have equal number of turns, so there's a first player marker. That'll be worth 18 points if you're the person who does that. Or when a player has learned all 7 of the spells, they will also trigger the end of the game, and then the other players will have equal turns. Points are simply what is your highest uncovered value on the storage board plus the values of the spells, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
I wish that the tokens in this were used in more games. The little acrylic tokens.
The acrylic ones are really nice. I will say they did stick together a little bit, though. Did you have that?
I didn't notice that, no.
Yeah, they
They're
definitely
also,
stuck together.
they're also pretty sharp. I definitely felt like after having,
Really?
I felt like after playing a full game of this, I had micro cuts on my fingers a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Just that sort of like sensitive fingertips. Not like, I'm cut, but like my fingers feel a little sensitive.
Right.
And I think it's from that, so.
Possibly. I know I played with a new, like we opened it and...
Maybe that's why they were...
So I did have to go through. But yeah, I mean, they were stuck like pretty hard. Like I think I damaged one getting it apart.
So what you're saying is this is basically a giant bag of knives they're selling.
Yep.
Just-
Yes,
Stick your hand in it and you go, ooh, magic knife.
Now, I like those tokens a lot. And I think the cards look pretty good. I will say, A, I do dislike that they didn't round the corners of the cards. I know you don't shuffle them, but that bothers me. It makes them feel cheaper.
It's weird.
B, the rule book kept, and the cards will often talk about mana, and then they'll talk about runes, and that is not particularly. It's only 2 things. Mana means the token and the color. Rune is a symbol on the token, but when it says take 2 runes, I don't know. I just thought
Does it have to be the same? No, I had the same thing, and multiple times I had to ask clarifications like, can I take these? Do they have to be the same color and symbol, or just symbol? Oh no, just the same color. So I hung up on that a couple times as well, but it's not, even in gameplay, very clear as you're reading the cards, unless it shows a symbol of the actual rune, something like that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking, because every time where it shows the symbol, totally easy to understand.
Yeah, that's different, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, and this is maybe a minor thing, but every game of this I've ever played, every single person, even the people who corrected other people, forgot to pull a rune from the bag at the end of their turn. It happens all the time because it's, and this is again maybe nitpicking, but it becomes a chore passing that bag around the whole time. You're doing other stuff, and after a while you start doing all these cool things, and you're like, I'm done. And the other person sits there, and you're like, oh yeah. There's another thing.
I think we ended up delegating it to somebody, and they just did it at the end. It was more like, oh, okay, done. Unless you pulled, and then you would pull until someone else needed the bag. It was like just end up one person would just refilling the middle.
I'm of mixed minds because I like when a game has a kind of a end of turn ritual. That way you do it, and everyone at the table goes, I know Chris is done.
Yeah.
He's not at this point going to be like, wait, no, I haven't done my 3 bonus actions. Or, So I like that. I don't know why this one isn't as intuitive as it should be. But I've done the same thing almost every game. I've finally gotten into the rhythm, you know what I mean? Where I know, okay, done, throw the bag at the next player, go. But my little nitpick, this is part of the insert. I hate when you have an insert that's supposed to hold cards in a slot and you have this that slides into it because the cards always slide underneath it and everything. We bag all the stuff and whatnot anyway, but it's just small weird decision for an otherwise like good production as we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a small game. It's not particularly grandiose, although you might get that idea. You're like, oh, wow, there's all these spells. No, you have 7 spells that you can do over the course of the game, and you can only do 1 of each type. And I found that every game of this has a pretty slow roll start. Really slow roll. And once it gets going, it can do interesting. It gets really interesting, and then ends. That's how every one of this has felt for me.
My one nitpick is, and the small, I think this is a smaller game than that box would sort of indicate. I agree with that. I'm not picking on it for that. It is what it is. You sort of learn that. But I do think it has a weird cadence. I think it does have a strange rhythm of play. this feeling of morning action, the thing, then the evening, and the whatever. And at first, it's really slow. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Draw 2. Fine, pull one out there. And that thing wipes clean a few times before people start to get going. That filling up to 10 and then wiping away. And then it just books it to the end. And I'm like, oh my God, wait, slow down, hold on, stop running up the victory points, or you're at 6 spells already? I feel like I just started. And then it's over. And so I find just that cadence, the rhythm of the game is a little weird. I don't know if it needs to be a little longer. I don't know if some spells could be easier to put together and they're like the early game spells. I don't know, but it does have a weird rhythm to it. The flip side of that is there's a lot of variety in the game, which is very nice. And I do appreciate that. I appreciate that there are so many different spells that everybody plays with the same stuff, but you can randomize it even with, one player picking, okay, we're playing with this one. Everybody finds that one and puts it in front of them. That's great. You're all playing with the same setup, but it's whatever you want it to be. I really like that.
And I found that I'm sorry, here. Okay, I found that playing all level 1 spells, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it, actually. I was very nervous at the end of my first game being like, I didn't have a lot of fun with those particular spells. Playing the 2s was a little better. 3s were fun. I would say randomize them. Like, if you play the game once, you can handle the level 3 spells. It's not like, woof, better work up to those.
Right.
They're just more fun.
The rule book says play several games with 1, then several games.
Yeah, they're trying to ease you into it. I get that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it depends how... I'm good for just the randomized setup. You know what I mean? Like, I've played a lot of games, so it's fine. I could see if this was kind of like maybe an entryway game for you. Sure. Play the same set a few times and get used to it.
Do you think this feels like a good game, though, for entry-level gaming? Like someone who's played only Ticket to Ride, let's say. It's their only game they've played, which is not mass market or old games. Is this a good next step to that? I don't know. I think there's too many little moving parts, too many Rune versus mana. Again, like, what am I supposed to be doing? So-and-so is drawing too many tokens, and I don't know how to catch up. It has those feelings. I wonder if it's not as good at those things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's not good for that because it is more intricate. You have to see not only what your spells do, but how are they going to interact with each other and kind of come up with a strategy of which one do you want to do first. But wait, I don't have that option. So I feel like there's too many, I think you said the little moving parts, but even with that, intricacies among those moving parts to feel very introduction game kind of. That being said, back to what you were saying earlier about the cadence of the game, I really enjoyed the second half of this game much more than the first. I think I would like to see what I was hoping for is some like maybe a little bit asymmetry, which I understand that's one of my preferred ways to play games anyway, one of my preferred mechanisms. But even at that, something to kind of jumpstart it. Like at the beginning, everyone gets to choose one spell that's unlocked at the bottom, or something like that. Just to kind of jumpstart you, because it is. I mean, it's 4 or 5 rounds before you feel like anything really gets going, and then it's like, oh wow, you got that. Ooh, okay, but I have this power, and you really do feel powerful as you start building a spell, and there is a good tension to it, but it takes half the game to get to that.
And you're definitely going to be, I think, right, drawing 2 randomly from the bag for your first several turns rather than one guaranteed one, because drawing 1 at a time, you're never going to get anything big, right?
Unless you have 2 of the same color.
Yeah.
And
I guess, right?
You want that third one. This game actually reminds me a lot of, in some ways, of Res Arcana. And I know you would say Res Arcana is a superior game, but this game is a small engine builder. You have 7 cards. You're figuring out how to get them up together. Some I like better than others. You said you thought set 1 was bad. I thought set 1 was better than set 2. And the main reason for that is that one card, that white card that allows you to upgrade your other spells, makes a big difference. I really like that one, and that one will always randomly show up in my games. Just because it's interesting, especially with spells that, when you use them, go down. So using one that lets them make, I don't know, it just makes it a little bit more of an engine building.
Yeah. I
also wouldn't mind seeing a 4th, 5th, 6th set of spells, just so there's even more variety. But, out of the box, I'm okay with this. I enjoyed it. Yes, it has a slow start, but I played it many times because I was curious. The best way to play it is with all 3 mixed.
Hands down.
Yeah.
All the different types. But it's also, it says 45 minutes in the box. You're going to get the 30-minute games for sure once you play for a while. So I'm giving it a 7. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I might forget it after a few years, possibly, but I enjoyed it enough. I played it several times.
I'm coming in a little bit higher. I'm giving it a 7.5. I like what this is doing. To me, it feels more like a filler for gamers than a big game for new people. You know what I mean? So if you are someone who already is comfortable with timing windows, with again, keywords, and just a little bit of that fiddliness that might scare somebody who's used to, like I said, Ticket to Ride or what have you, then you might have a hard time sort of getting into it, and especially understanding the whole level 1s, level 2s, what's going on. As a filler for gamers, I really do like it. You're right, it's so quick. It does that very well. You get in there, you've done it. In fact, a little too quick sometimes for my taste, which is why I'm docking it a little bit. But I like the production. I like the vibe here. Yes, the theme's a little trite and tired. Spells, again, magic, woo, but I enjoy what it's doing. I think it's a well put together game. If it does well and gets expansions, then we could possibly see even more sets, and that's cool. I like it. A 7.5. It's a fun game.
I'm right there as well. I'm also giving it a 7.5. I know that we've had a lot of complaints throughout the review, and so some people might feel like that, whoa, you're giving this a seal of approval when you have all these complaints about it. Yeah, I have a lot of high expectations from Phil Walker Harding and from Space Cowboys. So we've aired some of our complaints about it, but at the end of the day, I've played this a bunch of times now, just Monday night 2-player, particularly. You're talking 20-minute games.
That's wild, yeah.
Yeah. You accomplish a lot, even though the start feels slow, and I agree. I would love to just have some way where the beginning turns weren't so rote, but once you start deviating, you do start deviating. And I love seeing that. I invested in this one early, which lets me draw more random tiles from the bag. Wendy went a different way, and she got one where she can take 3 matching runes from the middle. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And she looks at me and she goes, that's so good.
That's the thing I really like, is that when you play this, no matter what you're doing and no matter what anybody else is doing, you will look across the table and go, that's OP. I should be doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really like that feeling in a game.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I found too, is at the end of the game, at the plays, there is a tension to when you're calculating those scores. You don't know who won.
Sure.
I never thought it was me. It was always like, wow, it's so-and-so over there because they had that take 3 runes in the middle and that just blew us away. Or the person that went up that whole track. And so I'm coming in at a 7.5 as well, just as an echo chamber here, I guess, because I really enjoyed that second half of the game. I thought there was a great tension. You felt powerful, but never powerful enough. It was like, wow, so-and-so is just really killing it. And then you get to the score and you're like, we were all right there neck and neck.
Right.
Then we all had completely different avenues to get there. I really enjoy that second half of the game. And so for me, that's why I do look forward to continuing to explore this game.
And it's funny, just to point out, you say echo chamber because they're all similar score range. I haven't played this game with any of you.
Right.
I don't know if any of us have played with any of you. Do we play in different
true.
groups?
Right.
We
We played it together when we learned it. But that's it.
That's it,
Anything else out of that was
We played a
on our own.
4-player game together,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that is SpellBook. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Chris.
I'm Z.
We'll see you next time on the Dice Tower.
Spells.